Good evening and welcome to the 2022 Division I Cross Country Selection Show. I'm your host, Matt Schumacher. We are 1 week away from one of the most anticipated events on the NCAA calendar. The men's 10K race, the women's 6K race, both will be hosted by Oklahoma State at the OSU Cross Country course in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Regional competitions took place over the weekend. 18 men's and women's teams earned automatic bids by placing top 2 in the team standings. They know they're in. The remaining 13 men's and women's programs are going to really appreciate seeing their name on the screen as at-large selections to this year's championship. We'll also unveil the names of individual athletes who earned individual bids tonight. And let's start first with women's automatic qualifiers. Alabama is our first automatic qualifier after winning the South Region title. It's the program's first regional title since 1986, following up a dominant performance at the SEC meet in which they finished 38 points ahead of the field. Also out of the SEC, Arkansas earned an auto bid, winning its 11th consecutive regional title, while Isabel Van Camp won the individual crown. 3 Seminole women earned all regional honors en route to helping Florida State punch its ticket to Stillwater this year. Out of the Big East Conference, the Georgetown Hoyas are back in the championship after winning back-to-back Mid-Atlantic regional titles. NC State placed first, second, and third in the individual standings as the Pack ran away with their 6th straight regional championship. New Mexico hosted their regional and then ran away with the title, successfully defending its championship from last season with 5 Lobos placing in the top 21 in a field of 129 competitors. Incredible. North Carolina, they rolled to an automatic bid by putting all athletes in the top 20 as 5 Tar Heels earned all region honors. Kelsey Harrington led the way, finishing 8th overall. And congratulations to the Northwestern Wildcats, who earned their first trip to the NCAA championships in 20 years with a top 2 finish at Friday's Midwest Regional. Rachel McCardle led the way with an 8th place finish in the individual standings. Notre Dame took first at the Great Lakes Regional and also secured the individual title en route to a championship. The 22nd ranked Ohio State Buckeyes have had a terrific postseason. Addie Engel won the Big Ten individual crown. She was the first Buckeye in women's cross country history to win the individual Big Ten title, and then the team followed that up with a top 2 finish at the regional meet. Oklahoma State, they are back in the NCAA championship after scorching the field at the Midwest Regional, thanks to Natalie Cook and Taylor Rowe finishing 2nd and 3rd, respectively. Meanwhile, the 10th ranked Oregon Ducks will be making their 33rd overall appearance at the NCAA championships on November the 19th after a 2nd place finish out west. Izzy Thornton-Bott continued her strong running, finishing 4th overall at the regional to match her finish at Pac-12 just a couple of weeks ago. Providence won its first regional championship since 2017, with freshman Jane Buckley finishing 3rd in a very competitive field. For the 11th time in program history, the Stanford men and women swept the team titles at the West Regional. The Cardinal women placed 4th at the Pac-12 championship a couple of weeks before that. Syracuse earned a 2nd place finish at the regional behind a great individual effort from Savannah Rourke, who finished a close 2nd in the individual race. And after a strong team showing at regionals in College Station, Texas advances to the national meet for the first time since 2019. Utah made a splash at the Pac-12 championship meet, placing 2nd in the team standings. That's their highest finish since joining the conference. They went on to an impressive performance in their regional to earn an AQ bid. And West Virginia rounds out our list of teams who automatically punched their ticket to the national championship. First, the Mountaineers made history at the Big 12 with Celie McCabe winning the program's first Big 12 individual title. The team also set a record with 5 athletes earning all Big 12 honors. And if that wasn't enough, they then went to the Mid-Atlantic Regional Championship. Sealy McKay became the first Mountaineer there to win back-to-back individual regional crowns. There are your list of automatic qualifiers. Now we turn our attention to the teams anxiously awaiting to hear their names called as at-large contenders. First, it is 6th-ranked BYU, earning an at-large after a 6th place finish in a difficult mountain regional. Aubrey Friendaway and Lexi Halday-Lowry took 3rd and 4th respectively, helping BYU to its 8th straight WCC cross-country championship last month. And Friendaway actually won that conference meet, leading for the final 3,000 meters. Congratulations to Cal Baptist on earning your first trip to the Division I NCAA Women's Cross Country Championships. Good luck in Stillwater. Would it be a championship meet without Colorado? The Buffs defended their Pac-12 championship with Bailey Hertenstein winning Pac-12 Women's Cross Country Athlete of the Year and head coach Mark Wetmore earning his 5th Pac-12 Coach of the Year honor. Meanwhile, Colorado State punches its ticket after a terrific postseason performance at the conference and regional meets. The Rams had 8 ladies set personal bests en route to a runner-up finish behind New Mexico at the Mountain West Cross Country Championship. The 21st ranked Wolverines of Michigan are in after big performances at both the Big Ten and Great Lakes Regional. Michigan placed 6 ladies in the top 35 to finish 3rd overall at the meet in Terre Haute. And Erica Vanderlyn led the way at both meets, earning all Big Ten honors and then finishing 13th at the Great Lakes Regional. Michigan State, a 4th place finish at the Great Lakes Regional Championship. Katie Osika led the Spartans with a 3rd place finish and was all region, and all 7 Spartan women finished in the top 50. Emily Bardwell and Katie Stewart Barnett also earned new personal bests. Northern Arizona, they finished 3rd at the Mountain Regional Championships behind New Mexico and Utah. Elise Stearns with a 2nd overall finish for the Lumberjacks in a time of 19:55.07. Northern Arizona earns their 4th straight NCAA appearance. Meanwhile, Oregon State with a 4th place finish at the West Region, their best finish at the NCAA West Regionals in school history, with junior Kaylee Mitchell finishing 1st in a time of 1919-02 rather, 1st regional championship in program history. Toledo making its 1st NCAA appearance since 2014. Congratulations, a 6th place finish at the Great Lakes Regional Championship, and it was a terrific postseason for Toledo. It continues in Stillwater. Meanwhile, Utah Valley, they are in. Everlyn Kemboy becomes Utah Valley's 1st ever individual champion en route to a 7th overall finish at the Mountain Region Championships for the Wolverines. Kemboy earned her 4th individual win of the season in that meet. Well, Virginia is in, and with their 3rd place finish in the South Regional Championship, the Cavalier women broke into the top 3 for the first time since they won the regional all the way back in 2015. They were led by 3 all-region selections: Sophie Atkinson, Margot Appleton, and Mia Barnett. Washington makes their 28th all-time NCAA appearance. They finished 3rd at the West Regional Championships behind Stanford and Oregon, a really tough field. They were led by Sophie O'Sullivan and Anna Gibson, who both earned all-region honors. Out of the Big Ten, Wisconsin, a 32nd all-time NCAA appearance this year, 6th of their last 7 opportunities, and they earned a 5th place finish at the 2022 Great Lakes Regional. A really strong performance by Wisconsin. With those 13 at-large teams in, the only athletes left are those individual runners from teams that have not yet qualified. So without further ado, let's unveil the individuals. Mia Beckham from Butler headed back to the NCAA cross-country champs after punching her ticket last season. She's now finished inside the top 20 at the Great Lakes Regional 2 years running. And from Ole Miss, Ryan Helmers finished 71st last year at the national meet. She's back again this year after a top 10 finish at the South Regional. Maeve Stiles set a Penn program record at the Mid-Atlantic Regional, running a time of 20:15:03. She finished 4th, tying the best individual finish at a regional meet in program history. Meanwhile, Gracie Morris of TCU made some history of her own this weekend, finishing 2nd in the South Central Regional, earning the highest individual finish by a Horned Frog since 2003. Moving along, Olivia Howell won the individual crown at the Midwest Regional for Illinois. It was the 3rd fastest time in Illini women's cross-country history, and it was 20:02:09. Tori Herman, one of 2 Kentucky athletes to earn an individual spot in the championship meet. She and Perry Bockrath both finished in the top 10 at regionals. Anna Lee Weaver of Utah State earned 2nd team all-conference honors at the Mountain West meet, and now she's running in her first NCAA cross-country champs. Congrats, Anna Lee. And out of Portland, Laura Pellicoro racing in her first XC Nationals after earning trips to the national meet for both indoor and outdoor track last year. Phoebe Anderson is one of not 1, not 2, but 3 Columbia Lions to earn individual bids to the NCAA National Championship meet this year. Congratulations to her and her Lions teammates. And there you have it, every single participant in the Women's National Championship meet coming up next week. The men will follow that race. Who will be running in it? We will answer that question in just a minute as our Division I cross-country selection show continues after this.
There's an energy swelling out beyond the limits of your expectations. A universe where fandom reigns supreme. Once you're in it, it changes you. Instead of one of one, you're one of many. A blissful sea of chaos. Go beyond your limits and enter the NCAA universe. Get your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets.
Welcome back to the 2022 Division I cross-country selection show. The field is now set for the women's 6K race. After they run, it's the men's 10K race that takes center stage in Stillwater. And now we unveil those selections. As we did with the women, here are the automatic qualifying teams for the men. Patrick Kiprop led the Arkansas Razorbacks to victory over the weekend as their top 5 runners placed inside the top 25. The 2nd-ranked BYU Cougars finished 2nd in their regional to NAAU by a narrow margin of 11 points. The Cougs placed 4 athletes in the top 15, and they really look ready to be a legit contender at the national meet. The Georgetown Hoyas finished 3 inside the top 10 at the regional meet this weekend to secure 2nd in the team standings and punch their ticket to Stillwater. Meanwhile, coming off their best ever performance at the West Regional, Gonzaga is headed to Stillwater in their 3rd straight trip to the national championships. The Zags knocked off number 14 Washington for the 2nd time this year and number 18 Oregon for the first time in program history. Harvard's Graham Blanks won the Northeast Regional Championship this weekend en route to helping the Crimson punch their ticket to Stillwater. North Carolina dominated the field at their regional over the weekend, winning the team title by over 20 points. Parker Wolf finished less than 2 seconds behind Charlotte's Nicholas Scudder for a 2nd place finish. Northern Arizona made a dominant performance in the Mountain West Regional over the weekend, with Nico Young and Drew Bosley finishing 1st and 2nd. Notre Dame, a 2nd place finish at the Great Lakes Regional, led by Carter Solomon and freshman Isaiah Story, who crossed the finish line in 5th and 6th place, respectively. Oklahoma State, their women are in, so are the men. They finished second at the Great Lakes Regional. They will host the national championships this year, and they have their own team competing to be crowned best of the best after finishing second to Tulsa in the regional meet. Ole Miss cross country dug deep and found just enough to steam over the final 2 kilometers to edge out the reigning SEC champion Alabama Crimson Tide. The Rebels now headed to their 11th straight NCAA championship meet. Stanford men join the women as regional champs. It's the 11th time in program history that the men's and women's teams have swept the regional meet. Charles Hicks finished 3rd overall. Syracuse were led by Nathan Lawler, who secured a top 15 finish in the individual standings over the weekend. The Orange will have strength in numbers in Stillwater as the women's team also earned a bid. And for the first time since 2002, Tennessee won the South Region team title. Racing through the rain, the Vols put 5 finishers inside the top 20 to earn a trip to regionals. Texas is headed to its 6th consecutive national championship with a strong showing over the weekend. Isaac Alonso led the Longhorns with a runner-up finish in the individual standings. Meanwhile, the 6th-ranked Tulsa Golden Hurricane won its regional title in a tiebreaker fashion, just edging out Oklahoma State for the program's 2nd regional title in program history. Tulsa went 3, 4, and 5 in the individual race. Villanova has been rolling all fall, and that continued this weekend after picking up the program's 8th Big East team title. The Cats took home the 1st place crown at the regional meet as Liam Murphy became the first Wildcat to win the individual title since Casey Comer did it in 2018. Virginia finished 2nd to North Carolina in the team standings at the regional over the weekend, clinching an auto bid to the championship in Stillwater. And Wisconsin, still a household name in men's and women's cross country. This year, the 8th-ranked men's Badgers placed 6 runners in the top 13 to run away with the program's 32nd regional title. Okay, folks, our automatic qualifiers are set on the men's side. Let's unveil the names of the team waiting at home to hear their fate. First, it's Air Force. Finished 4th overall at the Mountain Regional Championship with 4 all-region accolades. They also swept the Mountain West postseason awards. A terrific postseason so far for Air Force, and they will try to continue that coming up in Stillwater. Alabama, they won the SEC championship in one of the tightest SEC men's races in conference history. Bama beat Tennessee and Arkansas, who both tied for 2nd. This title was the 4th in program history for Alabama after winning in 1973, 2008, and 2009. But this year was extra special because it marked the first SEC sweep for both the men and women in program history. Butler is in for the 2nd year in a row. The Butler men finished 1-2 at the NCAA Great Lakes Regional. Barry Keene earned the top spot with Jesse Hamlin just 13 seconds behind him. The Dogs finished 4th overall, but did enough to get into the national field. Colorado, 2 top 5 finishers and 6 all-region selections after a 3rd-place team finish in the Mountain Regional Championships. Austin Vansel finished 7th overall in a tight race at the top. Also from the state of Colorado, Colorado State, first NCAA appearance since 2018. 3 Rams ran for personal best at the Mountain West Championship en route to a 2nd-place team finish. Michigan is in with 5 all Big Ten selections, led by senior Tom Brady, who finished 4th overall at the Big Ten Championship meet. Brady followed that up with a 3rd-place finish at the Great Lakes Regional Championship. Sounds like another Tom Brady I know from Michigan. Terrific postseason so far for the Wolverines. Michigan State also out of the Big Ten, their 2nd overall NCAA appearance, 1st since 2002. Welcome back, Sparty, led by Duncan Hamilton and Matthew Rickman. who finished 3rd and 4th respectively in the Mountain Regionals. NC State is making its 33rd all-time appearance in the championship meet after finishing 4th at the Southeast Regional Champs. They were led by Ian Shanklin, who placed 7th overall. Oregon, welcome back to the national champs. The Ducks earn an at-large bid after finishing 4th at the West Regional. Princeton, they are in. 3rd place finish at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Champs. 5 runners in the top 20, led by Connor Nisbet's time of just over 30:08. He was 5th overall. Nisbet earned about a 37-second PR in his effort. Congrats to him and the Tigers. Utah State had 4 Aggies finish in the top 50, and for just the 4th time in program history, they have been selected to the NCAA championship race. All 3 previous appearances have come in the last 5 years. This is a program trending in the right direction. Wake Forest, a 3rd place finish at the Southeast Regional Champs. 4 all-region selections. The Demon Deacons are making their 3rd straight NCAA appearance and the 12th all-time. Rounding out the field, Washington was led by senior Brian Fay at the West Regional Championships, who extended the program streak to 3 for individual titles at the meet. Luke Hauser also had a top 10 finish on the day, helping the Huskies to a 3rd overall finish. With those 13 at-large teams in, the only male athletes left are those individual runners from teams that did not qualify. Let's kick it off with Gabriel Sanchez of Indiana. Finished 3rd at the Big Ten meet. This is his first trip to nationals. Last year, Michigan State senior Aiden Smith did not run at the Great Lakes Regional, but this year he finished 20th. Welcome to the NCAA meet. Jack Miller and Luke Hensler, both in from Pitt after 7th and 13th place finishes at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Championships. Congratulations to you two from Pittsburgh. Senior Titus Winders, in his first season at Iowa State, is headed to the D1 Cross Country Championships. Last year he won the D2 Indoor Nationals for Southern Indiana in both the 3K and the 5K. Meanwhile, Ryan Martins had a heck of a season for Loyola, never finishing lower than 2nd place in any meet all year. He was the Midwest Regional runner-up over the weekend. Making his first appearance at the cross-country champs since 2019, Jonathan Shields of Boise State back in the field. And Jake Ritter won the Big West cross-country individual title earlier this year for Cal Poly, ran well enough in the regional to earn a spot at the national meet. And rounding out our field of individuals is this list of impressive athletes from the Northeast, including Providence's Marcelo Rocha, who finished 5th at regionals to earn his 2nd trip to the national meets. So our field is set. 62 teams, 76 individuals head to Stillwater, Oklahoma to compete in one of the most elite athletics events in the world, the NCAA Division I Men's and Women's Cross Country Championships. If you can't be there in person, make sure you tune in Saturday, November the 19th on ESPNU and the ESPN app. Coverage begins at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much for joining us today. Congratulations to all who will compete for a national title, and good luck.
There's an energy swelling out beyond the limits of your expectations. A universe where fandom reigns supreme. Once you're in it, it changes you. Instead of one of one, you're one of many. A blissful sea of chaos. Go beyond your limits and enter the NCAA universe. Get your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets.